In today's hyper-connected world, productivity tools have become the backbone of how we work, communicate, and organize our lives. Yet, ironically, the overwhelming abundance of these tools often leads to frustration rather than clarity. The digital workspace can easily turn into a fragmented mess of apps, tabs, and notifications, from calendars and to-do lists, note-taking apps, project management platforms, file storage systems, and communication channels, each demanding attention, each promising efficiency, but rarely delivering seamless integration. This is the story of how one tool, Notion, emerged as a blueprint to simplify, unify, and transform the way individuals and teams approach work. More than just a productivity app, Notion became a catalyst for a profound shift in working habits, ushering in an era where flexibility, customization, and holistic organization replaced disjointed workflows and tool fatigue. In this series, we will explore the evolution of workplace tools, the challenges of managing multiple apps, and how Notion's unique combination of notes, databases, task management, and collaboration features answered a widespread need. We will follow the journey of everyday users and professionals who discovered a new rhythm and structure in their work, replacing dozens of scattered applications with one adaptable blueprint. Through these 10 chapters, you will learn about the roots of workplace complexity, the breakthrough moments with Notion, practical implementations, success stories, and lessons learned along the way. Ultimately, this story reflects a broader trend, the human desire for simplicity in a complicated digital era, and how the right tool can change not just what we do, but how we think and work. The modern knowledge worker's desk is rarely limited to a single notebook or a calendar anymore. Instead, it has exploded into a digital ecosystem of applications, each promising to solve a particular problem but often creating new ones. Before discovering Notion, many users faced a common dilemma, juggling multiple apps for different purposes. There were separate tools for task management like Todoist or Asana, note-taking apps such as Evernote or OneNote, cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox, calendars in Outlook or Google Calendar, and communication tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Each had its own user interface, terminology, and limitations. The result? Fragmentation. Important information was scattered across platforms. Tasks listed in one app had no direct link to notes, or files stored elsewhere. Collaboration became cumbersome, requiring constant switching between tools. Notifications piled up, and the mental load of tracking where something was stored drained focus and energy. This fragmentation not only caused inefficiency but also led to anxiety. Users spent more time organizing their work tools than doing the work itself. The friction between apps caused delays, miscommunication, and missed deadlines. Ironically, these tools designed to boost productivity were becoming obstacles. Furthermore, customization was limited. Users had to adapt their workflows to fit the rigid structures of each app. For example, a project management tool might not allow flexible note-taking or brainstorming, while note apps lack task tracking and reminders. This forced compromises and workarounds, sticky notes on screens, manual cross-referencing, or duplicating data. In this tangled environment, teams struggled to maintain transparency and coherence. Onboarding new members meant teaching them multiple platforms. Managers faced difficulties in getting a unified view of projects, timelines, and responsibilities. In short, the tool overload phenomenon was real. Many professionals dreamed of a single platform that could adapt to their very needs, integrate work elements, and streamline collaboration, a blueprint for organizing work without the chaos. Amid the chaos of juggling multiple productivity apps, a new contender quietly gained momentum, Notion. Unlike the traditional siloed tools, Notion promised an all-in-one workspace where notes, tasks, databases, calendars, and collaboration lived under a single roof. But what truly set it apart was its unparalleled flexibility and customization. Notion's magic lay in its building blocks, pages and blocks. Users could create pages that contained text, images, tables, Kanban boards, calendars, code snippets, and more, all fully customizable and interlinked. This meant one could design a personal planner, a team wiki, a project tracker, or even a CRM tailored exactly to their needs. Early adopters found that Notion broke the mold of rigid productivity tools. It didn't force users into predefined workflows. Instead, it empowered them to craft their own systems. Whether you were a student managing classes and assignments, a startup CEO tracking product development, or a freelance writer organizing research and deadlines, Notion adapted. Moreover, Notion unified collaboration in one place. Teams could comment on any block, assign tasks, share databases, and maintain a shared knowledge base. The friction of toggling between apps diminished drastically. Information no longer vanished in email threads or separate chat channels. It lived where the work happened. However, the learning curve was real. Notion's flexibility could be intimidating. Users had to invest time experimenting and building their ideal setups. Yet, this initial effort paid dividends, as the workspace evolved into a powerful personal or team blueprint, uniquely tailored and endlessly scalable. Many began to realize Notion was more than just a tool. It was a paradigm shift in how to think about organizing information, tasks, and collaboration. It invited users to design their workflows instead of fitting their lives into rigid apps. The promise of Notion was clear: one tool to replace many, one system to unify diverse aspects of work. But how did this vision translate into everyday use? What challenges did users face, and how did they overcome them? These questions would shape the next chapters of the Notion story. One of Notion's greatest strengths lies in its adaptability. But that strength is also a challenge. The freedom to build your own workspace means users must first understand what they want and how to create it. Unlike fixed apps with set features, Notion functions as a digital blank canvas, and success depends on how well users design their blueprints. For many, the journey began with small experiments. A simple to-do list here, a meeting notes page there. But soon, these scattered efforts evolved into complex, interconnected systems. Users started combining calendars with task boards, embedding documents, linking databases, and creating templates to save time. This shift from consumer to creator gave users a newfound sense of control. Rather than forcing their workflow into prepackaged apps, they could create dashboards that displayed everything relevant to their daily tasks. Personal productivity became visible and manageable in ways never before possible. Teams embraced this flexibility, too. Marketing groups built content calendars connected to campaign trackers. Product teams created bug databases linked with feature roadmaps. HR departments maintained employee directories and onboarding checklists. The shared workspace became a living, breathing organism, customized for each group's unique needs. However, with great power came new challenges. Without guidelines, some users felt overwhelmed by the possibilities. Sprawling pages with inconsistent formatting became common pitfalls. Collaboration could falter if standards weren't set, causing confusion over where to find information or how to update content. The Notion community responded by sharing templates, best practices, and tutorials. Online forums, YouTube channels, and workspace exchanges flourished. Users learned to balance flexibility with structure, crafting blueprints that were both powerful and user-friendly. In this phase, Notion transcended being a mere app. It became a platform for creativity and problem-solving. It challenged the old paradigm of rigid tools and invited everyone to become architects of their own productivity. But how exactly did this transformation influence daily work habits and outcomes? The answer lies in the next chapter, where we explore the real-life impact of adopting a Notion blueprint. Adopting Notion was not just about replacing a collection of apps. It was a catalyst for reshaping how people approach their work daily. With a unified workspace, users found themselves adopting new habits that streamlined their focus, enhanced clarity, and boosted productivity. First, the barrier between planning and execution began to blur. Instead of juggling separate calendars, notes, and task managers, everything lived in one place. This reduced the cognitive load of constantly switching contexts and remembering where information was stored. Users spent less time searching for documents or cross-referencing apps and more time doing meaningful work. Second, the habit of contextual linking changed how information was consumed and created. For example, a project task was no longer an isolated checklist item but a part of a broader database linked to meeting notes, timelines, and resources. This interconnectedness fostered a deeper understanding of projects and better decision-making. Third, collaboration became more transparent and immediate. Comments on specific blocks of text or tasks allowed teams to discuss details directly within the workspace. Assigning and tracking responsibilities became clearer, reducing misunderstandings and follow-ups. The shared environment encouraged accountability and aligned goals. Fourth, users began personalizing their dashboards to highlight priorities, deadlines, and progress. This visual organization helped maintain motivation and focus, turning abstract goals into tangible, trackable steps. Templates accelerated repetitive tasks and standardized processes, saving time and reducing errors. Finally, the flexibility to evolve the workspace over time meant habits could grow organically. Users refined their blueprints, adapting to changing projects, team sizes, and workflows. This adaptability prevented stagnation and kept productivity systems aligned with real needs. Overall, the shift to Notion was not just a technological change, but a behavioral one. It invited users to rethink their workflows, embrace integrated thinking, and take ownership of their productivity tools. The next chapter will dive deeper into specific success stories, real people and teams who transformed their work through the Notion blueprint. Behind every tool's success are the stories of the people who make it work. Notion's rise was fueled by countless users, from solo freelancers to large corporations, who shared how this flexible workspace fundamentally transformed their workflows and work lives. Take Sarah, a freelance content creator overwhelmed by managing client projects across emails, spreadsheets, and scattered notes. After switching to Notion, she built a centralized client dashboard tracking project status, deadlines, invoices, and feedback. Suddenly, Sarah could see everything at a glance, drastically reducing stress and missed deadlines. Her workflow became smoother, freeing time to focus on creativity rather than administration. In the startup world, a small team at a growing software company replaced a tangle of Slack messages, Google Docs, and Trello boards with a single Notion workspace. They built interconnected databases for bugs, feature requests, release schedules, and meeting notes. This transparency boosted communication and helped align everyone from engineers to marketing. The result was faster product iterations and a more cohesive team culture. Educational institutions also found value. Professors used Notion to organize course materials, assignments, and student progress in one place. Students collaborated seamlessly on group projects, sharing research and tracking milestones. The unified approach reduced confusion and improved engagement. Even larger enterprises embraced Notion's flexibility. HR departments created onboarding guides, performance trackers, and policy repositories that adapted quickly to company growth. Cross-functional teams maintained shared knowledge bases that bridged gaps between departments. These examples highlight a common theme. Notion empowered users to break free from fragmented tools and build tailored solutions that fit their unique workflows. The ability to customize, link, and collaborate in one space translated into tangible improvements in efficiency, communication, and job satisfaction. But these successes didn't come without challenges. Adopting a new system required training, mindset shifts, and ongoing maintenance. The next chapter will explore these obstacles and how users overcame them to sustain long-term productivity. While Notion offered immense flexibility and power, its very openness presented hurdles that users had to overcome to realize its full potential. Unlike traditional apps with rigid interfaces, Notion required an investment of time, patience, and sometimes guidance to build effective workflows and avoid pitfalls. The first challenge was the initial learning curve. New users often felt overwhelmed by the infinite possibilities. Without templates or a clear starting point, many struggled to decide how to structure their workspace. This sometimes led to procrastination or abandonment of the tool altogether. To address this, the Notion community and company developed a rich ecosystem of templates, tutorials, and forums. Beginners could start with pre-built blueprints for project management, personal planning, or team collaboration, adapting them gradually. Peer sharing helped spread best practices and inspired creative use cases. Another obstacle was consistency and maintenance. Without discipline, workspaces could become cluttered and disorganized over time. Users learned the importance of naming conventions, version control, and regular workspace audits to archive outdated content and streamline navigation. Collaboration introduced its own complexities. Teams needed to agree on standards and roles within Notion to prevent confusion. Without clear guidelines, duplicated pages, conflicting edits, and information silos could emerge, undermining the benefits of a unified workspace. Integration with external tools was also a factor. While Notion's API and embed capabilities improved connectivity, some users still relied on specialized apps for niche needs. Striking a balance between centralization and using best-in-class tools remained an ongoing challenge. Finally, not all organizations had the culture or infrastructure ready for such a flexible platform. Change management and leadership buy-in were crucial to encourage adoption and continuous improvement. Despite these challenges, users who persisted found that the upfront effort resulted in lasting gains. The habit of customizing and evolving the workspace created resilience and adaptability, key traits in today's fast-changing work environments. In the next chapter, we'll explore the future of workspaces and how tools like Notion are shaping the next generation of productivity. As the digital landscape continues to evolve, the concept of a workspace is being redefined. The traditional boundaries between communication, task management, documentation, and collaboration are dissolving, giving rise to unified environments that support the fluidity and complexity of modern work. Notion stands at the forefront of this transformation, representing a new breed of tools often referred to as all-in-one workspaces, or productivity platforms. These platforms blur lines between previously separate apps, allowing users to design personalized systems that reflect their unique workflows and goals. Looking forward, several trends suggest how Notion and similar tools will shape the future of work. Customization is becoming the standard. The expectation is no longer to fit into rigid software molds but to build adaptable solutions that evolve with changing demands. Users will increasingly be architects of their own productivity environments. Integration and automation continue to advance. While Notion already supports embedding and API-based integrations, deeper connectivity with other platforms and smarter automation, via AI and workflows, will enable seamless, hands-free task execution and information flow. Collaborative intelligence will play a greater role. Enhanced real-time collaboration features, coupled with AI assistance, will facilitate collective decision-making, knowledge sharing, and problem-solving in more dynamic and interactive ways. As users capture more data in structured formats, data-driven insights will become available. Analytics tools will provide actionable insights into productivity patterns, project health, and team dynamics. Cross-device and hybrid work support is becoming essential. With remote and hybrid work models becoming the norm, workspaces like Notion will focus on delivering consistent, accessible experiences across devices and locations. The growth of community and ecosystem around Notion exemplifies how user-generated templates, plugins, and educational content enrich the platform, making it more powerful and accessible. This vision aligns with a broader shift toward empowering individuals and teams to own their workflows, adapt quickly, and reduce cognitive friction. The Notion blueprint is not just about replacing tools, it's about reimagining how work gets done in an increasingly complex world. However, this future also raises questions about digital well-being, data privacy, and the balance between customization and simplicity. Addressing these challenges will be key to sustainable productivity gains. The next chapter will reflect on the broader cultural and psychological impact of tools like Notion and how they influence our relationship with work. The rise of all-in-one tools like Notion is not only reshaping workflows but also influencing how people relate to their work and organize their mental landscapes. The convergence of notes, tasks, databases, and collaboration into a single platform reflects deeper cultural and psychological shifts in the digital age. Firstly, the act of crafting a personalized workspace encourages mindfulness and intentionality. Users become more aware of their priorities and information flows, cultivating habits of reflection and planning. The ability to link related ideas and tasks fosters holistic thinking, reducing the fragmentation that often leads to cognitive overload. Secondly, unified workspaces support a sense of control and ownership over one's work environment. In contrast to feeling overwhelmed by a maze of disconnected tools, users can create clarity and order tailored to their preferences. This can reduce anxiety and improve focus, making work less stressful and more manageable. Thirdly, these platforms encourage transparency and shared understanding in teams, which can enhance trust and collaboration. When knowledge is centralized and accessible, the chances of miscommunication and siloed information diminish. This can lead to healthier workplace cultures that value openness and collective responsibility. However, this integration also brings challenges. The blurring of boundaries between personal and professional spaces can increase the risk of burnout if not managed carefully. The constant accessibility and potential for overorganization may lead some users to spend excessive time managing the tool rather than working. Moreover, the emphasis on customization requires a balance to avoid paralysis by analysis, spending too much time perfecting systems instead of executing tasks. Educating users on maintaining simplicity and purpose within their blueprints is essential. On a societal level, the shift toward tools like Notion reflects a broader demand for agency and adaptability in work. As jobs become more complex and knowledge-driven, workers seek platforms that empower creativity and efficiency rather than constrain them. In this light, Notion's impact transcends productivity. It touches on how we shape our work identities, manage information, and navigate the evolving relationship between humans and technology. The final chapter will conclude this journey, summarizing lessons learned and looking ahead to how the Notion blueprint can continue to inspire better work habits worldwide. The journey through the rise and impact of Notion reveals much more than the story of a productivity tool. It highlights a fundamental shift in how people approach work, information, and collaboration in an increasingly complex digital world. The Notion blueprint is a symbol of the human desire for simplicity amid complexity, a single adaptable platform that replaces dozens of fragmented apps and reshapes work habits. By empowering users to design personalized, interconnected workflows, Notion fosters clarity, control, and creativity. Throughout this series, we've seen how the tool's flexibility challenges traditional software paradigms, requiring users to become creators of their own productivity systems. This shift encourages mindfulness, ownership, and collaboration, all essential traits for modern knowledge workers. Yet, the path is not without obstacles. Overcoming the learning curve, maintaining structure, balancing customization with simplicity, and managing the psychological implications of integrated workspaces remain ongoing challenges. The success stories remind us that with patience, community support, and intentionality, these challenges can be transformed into opportunities. Looking ahead, the Notion blueprint points toward a future where workspaces are not just apps but living ecosystems that evolve with users' needs. Deeper integration, smarter automation, and AI-powered insights will further enhance how people organize, create, and collaborate. More importantly, this future invites us to rethink our relationship with work, shifting from fragmented, reactive task management to proactive, holistic engagement. Tools like Notion serve as catalysts for this change, helping individuals and teams align their goals, streamline their processes, and ultimately find greater satisfaction and meaning in their work. In the end, the Notion blueprint is more than technology, it is a mindset. It teaches us that by building thoughtful systems tailored to our unique workflows, we can conquer complexity, reduce stress, and unlock our full potential. As workplaces continue to evolve, embracing this blueprint may be the key to thriving in a fast-paced, ever-changing world, transforming not only what we do but how we think, collaborate, and grow.